Corruption arrests and the continuing federal investigation in North Jersey could have wider implications for Democrats this fall. Insiders tell NJN News that critical get-out-the-vote operations in Hudson County may have been damaged as key operatives were swept up in the federal probe. And as State House correspondent Zachary Fink reports, some Democrats are also raising questions about the timing of the raids.
After the initial shock of hearing that 44 people had been arrested in a corruption investigation, some Democrats are now wondering who exactly was targeted in this sweep and why.
The timing of something like that is never advantageous in a political year. Now, the fact that Mr. Christie chose Sheriff Kim Wadagno on Tuesday, and it was clear from all the reports that Governor Corzine was going to make his formal selection on Friday or Saturday. What happens in between? Well, the United States Attorney's Office and the FBI put under lock and key 44 different officials or different persons of interest, different defendants.
In a statement, a spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's Office said, quote, "There comes a point when a case must be executed. Our interest is in stopping criminal activity. There is an election every year in this state. If we were to wait to protect the political interests of everyone out there, then the kind of criminal activity we witnessed would go on to no end." Political commercials, direct mailings, and cold calls to voters are important pieces in any statewide New Jersey race. But people who run the campaigns say the most important element is the so-called ground operation on Election Day. That is literally making sure that supporters show up at the polls. In some cases, that can mean physically driving people to their stations. With Governor Corzine trailing his Republican opponent Chris Christie by double digits in many polls, Democrats say the governor is going to need big pluralities in Democratic strongholds like Hudson County to win in November. Some well-known names who could presumably deliver those votes have been arrested, such as Hoboken Mayor Peter Camerano. According to the criminal complaint, Camerano bragged to a witness that he could still get 85 to 90% of the vote from seniors, Hispanics, and Italians, even if he gets indicted. And although not charged, Jersey City Mayor Jeremiah Healy is mentioned as an unnamed official in one of the complaints. Healy even admitted in a television interview with another network yesterday that he personally met with the federal government's cooperating witness more than once. John Whiten is the editor of the Jersey City Independent, which broke the story about Healy being mentioned in the complaint. He says the once formidable Democratic machine has been dented.
It certainly will probably cut down on the amount of, sort of hand-around cash that people have to go, pay someone $15 an hour to get out the vote on Election Day or drive a bus or something.
I'm sure it can be revived. Mayor Healy, who's also the county chairman, is dedicated to getting out the vote. Pete Camerano, frankly, the mayor of Hoboken, did a terrific job in his race and his runoff in getting out the vote. And Joe Cardwell, a consultant up there for probably a generation or two or decades, has been a critical player, a master of GOTV, as we say in the trade, or get out the vote efforts in Hudson County.
Unlike Healy or Camerano, Joe Cardwell may not be a name that people outside Hudson County recognize, but he too was arrested last Thursday.
Joe Cardwell is a longtime operative in Jersey City, and he's the founder of the Urban Times newspaper, and he's a very influential guy in Ward F, and he helps turn out the vote for his favored candidates, sometimes with successful results and sometimes with unsuccessful results.
Cardwell and Bobby Jackson, who is now deceased, came to prominence in the administration of Glenn Cunningham, who was elected Jersey City mayor in 2001. Cardwell and Jackson rocked the political establishment when they helped deliver Jersey City's Ward F for Cunningham with tremendous voter turnout. Ward F is the largely African-American ward in Jersey City. That first election demonstrated the voting power of those districts. Without Cardwell, Democrats are asking if Governor Corzine can win as big as he might need to in Jersey City this fall. Corzine, meantime, declined to say that the investigation, which came out of the office his opponent used to run, targeted key Democrats in Hudson.
I'm not going to comment on the political aspects of this. I'll let other people draw their own conclusions. I have said repeatedly, when cases are ready to go, they should be brought. I don't know the strategies within the U.S. Attorney's Office, and I don't question their motives. You know, when people take money, that's wrong.
These people had to have expressed an interest in taking before anything is offered to them. If it's the other way around, it's entrapment. We just don't go around and start saying, hey, would you like money? Would you like money? That's called entrapment, and the U.S. Attorney's Office doesn't do that.
This is certainly not the first time there has been a disruption in the normally well-oiled machine of the Democratic Party in Hudson County. Normally, it recovers. The question this time is, will it recover in enough time for the November election? And there's another variable in this as well, as one insider put it, and that is Senator Bob Menendez, who has been concentrating on his national duties in Washington, but if called upon by the governor who appointed him to that U.S. Senate seat to help out, could he rally the troops in time in Hudson County? Zachary Fink, NJN News, the State House.